領域展開福間水頑張れ頑張れ嬉しそうだな褒めてやろうか
Sukuna is an evil virtuoso, an egoist, dictating the rules of the game, looking down on everyone, dividing people into strong and weak. Jujutsu Kaisen is not over yet, and Gege Akutami is in no hurry to disclose such a charismatic antagonist. Sukuna is literally a mythological creature that is found in one form or another in stories, fairy tales, and urban legends. He is a ghost that is said to have appeared in Haida province in ancient times, more precisely during the reign of Emperor Nintoku, the 16th emperor who ruled from 313 to 399 AD. Sukuna had two faces, one on the front and the other on the back of his head, like Janus in Roman mythology. He also had two pairs of arms and two pairs of legs. Each pair was on the front and back of his body. His height was around 3 meters depending on the description, but in any case he was significantly taller than an average Japanese of that time. He had a bow, arrows, and a sword in his hands. He was very smart and possessed superhuman strength. According to an urban legend, he was one of two personalities, a part of a Siamese twin, hence an additional pair of hands and his second face. These Siamese twins were bought into slavery, hence the corresponding treatment, as with freaks. They were sent to a secret cell full of other cripples, forcing them to kill each other and do various abominations in order to survive. The survivor, and therefore the winner in this cruel ceremony, had his stomach slit open, and the remains of ancient enemies of the imperial court, ground into dust, were placed there. Then they starved him, thus making a mummy of the cursed Buddha, who became the object of worship of the Mononobe Tengoku sect, an ancient family of Japan, which is noteworthy, since it can easily be associated with the current Tengen, the barrier master, whom Kenjaku ironically teased for adopting a look similar to Sukuna's, which refers us to the Mononobe family. The mummy was used in occult pilgrimages to send curses and natural disasters to Japan. According to the legend, the cursor of the twins committed suicide by standing in front of the mummy and leaving a message in blood that said, "Japan must die." The mummy itself was found many years later in a Kyoto temple. So, let's look at the beginning of the legend and think about why each line corresponds so strongly to Sukuna from Jujutsu Kaisen. Siamese twins were nothing more than a commodity, a toy and fun in perverted battles. The image itself already refers us to the King of Curses, because his worldview is hidden in the words he said. His motivation, starting with chapter 214, became obvious. Sukuna answered Itadori's question,
"Why can't you just live without causing suffering?"
quite honestly.
The real question is, why are you all so weak? Why do such weaklings cling so fiercely to life? How can a creature that falls apart at such a touch say that it always wants to be happy? The helpless have no choice but to swallow the suffering life gives them.
This view of Two-Face's life is motivated by what he had already experienced when he was forced to fight and survive in human form. The line, "the surviving twins were torn apart," can also be applied to the manga, because this is exactly what can be used as a catalyst for strengthening or giving birth to the Sukuna that we know. The scene with Satoru, who was literally cut from throat to stomach, after which he became stronger, immediately comes to mind. I'm pretty sure the same deal was with the twins, most likely when they were cut open, and Sukuna awakened his powers. Sukuna's abilities are mainly related to cutting, the top of which is the domain expansion, a reflection of the essence of his personality. Cuts are Two-Face's original technique because of the pain he has experienced, which is imprinted on him, and the ability to collect other people's techniques is an unrealized ability of his second half. We saw Sukuna's shrine, an original technique, in the battle with Jogo. He said open, and then he gained access to the flame with which he burned Jogo and exiled Maharaga. Let's turn to chapter 216, which shows a ritual similar to the kodoku from Japanese folklore, which aims to create a powerful poisonous creature, an amulet by selection. There is a similarity in it with what was done with the Two-Face. As you have already understood, Sukuna passed the selection, but did not become an amulet, but literally became the king of curses and poisons, which is his second nickname, and it quite fits into the brief information that we have. By origin, Sukuna from urban legends was originally a pair of conjoined twins. In Jujutsu, Kaisen twins are considered to be one person, but there is a nuance. Let's look at the example of Maki and Mai. Both of the sisters were connected by the heavens, and one always influenced the other. Maki received heavenly restriction in exchange for her cursed energy, as Toji did, and Mai received a cursed technique. But because of their connection, Maki did not completely lose her cursed energy, and Mai was forced to settle for a meager amount of it. That is, despite some general restrictive or suppressive connection, the twins still have their own characteristics. So, if we accept the assumption that it was Sukuna who collected techniques, then the highest form of his skill as a caster, domain expansion, is literally a sanctuary, a place to store shrines and not cuts. On the other hand, there is a theory according to which Kenjaku is the second twin, in particular the brain, that lives separately from the original body. This would make Sukuna Yuji's uncle. Yes, Sukuna does not recognize the weak. It is also worth understanding that Sukuna does not hate humanity. He does not even care about such an entity as a human. He equally hates weaklings. The reason is that the weak get together in groups, and society hinders development in understanding the king of curses. This is clearly seen in the dialogue with Jogo. Sukuna was showing human emotions at that moment, namely empathy.
But you know, this was actually fun while it lasted. Humans, jujutsu sorcerers, cursed spirits. You're not bad compared to those I fought over the last 1,000 years. Stand proud. You're strong.
Sukuna recognizes only the strong and interacts with them as equals, although he is the one estimating the level of power. But alas, this scene is interrupted by Jogo's tears, and Sukuna regarded them as weakness, so he immediately killed him. Sukuna thinks that only an unshakable, self-sufficient, and truly strong warrior can become happy in this world. The rest should remain elements of the food chain. Power as the ability to impose one's will on others for him is the foundation of the world. The second part related to Satoru Gojo is also hidden here, because Sukuna recognizes his merits and sacrifices. This is understandable from the very beginning of the anime, namely from the first meeting with Gojo, when Sukuna bluntly said that he would kill him someday, and wondered why Satoru was not a leader of the current era. So, he respects the strong. It is most likely that he met an equal for the first time, which was an incentive for rivalry from the very beginning, because there should not be two strongest. The King of Curses is a disaster that brings untold destruction and violence to the world through its domination. Well, in conclusion, it would be extremely sad if such a character does not get a couple of chapters for the full disclosure of the story, so that not only he, but the whole manga shone with new colors, for Sukuna can be made into a truly remarkable antagonist with an ambiguous history and cruel motivation as a consequence of the first. Even legends and tales reflect the character of the two-faced manga character, filling him with meaning and soul, albeit evil.